Buenos días, todo el mundo. ¿Cómo están ustedes? How are you doing out there in the digital world, in the 2D facsimile of reality? Let's see. Let's close that video screen. Let's have a talk today about being welcoming. Let's talk today about what it is like to welcome strangers, travelers, the alien and the stranger. As Old Testament scripture, Old Testament God, even Yahweh says, you know, when you harvest your crops, whatever falls on the ground, leave it for the alien and the stranger. When you build your cities, leave a spot for the alien and the stranger to pass through that welcomes them where they can be safe and rest for the night. Europe gets this right with all the backpacking hostels. You can just grab a backpack and get on the tram and go from town to town and know that you'll have a place to stay on the Camino Santiago, the famous trail, the Holy Trail. There's a movie with Martin Sheen about this called The Way, where he's mourning the loss of, I think it was his son, and he decides to take a backpacking trip on the Camino. And they set up backpacking hostels. Backpacking hostels, there's an idea. Scripture in the New Testament scripture, I think it's in Hebrews, where it says, show hospitality to everybody, because in so doing, some have entertained angels unaware. Angels, what are angels? So let's talk about the opposite of welcoming. Let's talk about the opposite of being courteous and kind and accepting to people traveling through your spot. This is the opposite. It's the opposite. Like, I had a little short I posted about how this wood at $2,000 a cord is ridiculous, and only people that haven't prepared for the winter would ever buy that. That's 1 cubic foot of oak for $20. That's $2,560 for a cord of wood, plus tax. You might get through the night. Oh no, the box broke on that last one. There's 6 pieces of wood in there for $20. I can go out right there and go get 6 pieces of wood right now. That'll keep you just as warm. I'd do it for you for $5. That's neither here nor there. But I'm out this morning thawing out. Had my coffee at the coffee shop. I'm making the rounds. I bought an 80-cent tea. I'd like to sit down. I'm shaking. I was just racing a truck down the street. Propane truck delivering propane to keep you all warm. And the way I keep myself warm is to exercise, to be active, to keep the machine running at an optimum level. I need calories, I need caffeine, I need food, I need a place to sit down to recover from these efforts. This is where I sit down. They have done this repeatedly since I've been here in March. I guess there's nowhere in the store for them to put this stuff. And they like to say, well, we don't have anywhere to put it, so we're going to put it here, and it's not personal. It's personal. It's very personal. I take it personally. That might be my mistake. Here's my symbol, by the way. If you see that symbol anywhere, then I've been there. That is my sigil. I probably should put the cross higher up. Heart cross. It's the 2 shepherds' crooks meeting in the middle. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I also shepherd myself with my own intelligence, my own wisdom, my own knowledge, my own understanding of this situation. One thing we've noticed about Quincy, there's only one bike thief in town, and I confronted him, and he bought the bike from me after I let him know what's up. So there's no thieves around. We like that about Quincy. We keep it on check, on lockdown. I leave my bike unlocked all the time. I do that on purpose. If I see that bike riding around and it's not me on it, that person's about to get a beat down. Usually not by me, but by friends of me. So I just tell people what to do, and they do it. That's how this works. It's like La Familia. I am the capo. I'm getting off subject there. The young lady had locked her bike up when I rolled up. I'm just trying to make a point. No problem locking your bikes up. That's all good. It's good practice, especially when you go to the cities, and especially when Quincy becomes a beaconing, shining example of city on the hill, where the cities will send their refugees and their depressed and they're in debt and they're tweakers and they're thieves. They're coming. They're coming. whether you like it or not, and it might actually be partially due to my channel. I'm sorry, not sorry. But y'all need a wake-up call. Y'all need a wake-up call. The way things actually work in the real world, where there's real crimes being committed, there's real stuff going down, where people are being trafficked. The beach in San Diego, where I posted up, was a prime sex trafficking spot for all of Southern California, off into Mexico. Teenage girls. And we caught a few of these operations in progress. And we corrected the situation. Y'all don't have a clue what's really going on. I mean, I appreciate the quaintness of this town. I appreciate how quiet it is. I appreciate the efforts you make to keep it that way. I understand that. I understand the efforts you make to keep this town quiet, and peaceful, and calm, and thief-free, and drug-free, and all those things. But when a prophet rolls into town to show you where you're lacking, it's in your best interest to make him feel welcome and comfortable and safe and warm, and so he can thrive in your town and get to his work. My work is this: pointing out where you're lacking. You're lacking in hospitality. You're lacking in friendliness. You're lacking in welcoming strangers. You're lacking in places for people to sit down. You're lacking in places for people to relax. You're lacking in places for people to get a nice shelter for the night at a reasonable rate. When it's $130 a night for your local hotel room, and I might find some work for $20 an hour today, but I'm not spending $130 in a room. I'll sleep in a storage closet. I'll sleep under the eaves over a building or somewhere over there. I'm not telling you where, because you people are after me. And it's aggravating. It's totally, totally, totally aggravating. You just don't stop. As Alan Watts once pointed out, he was echoing the words of Lao Tzu. He says, "The goody-goodies are the thieves of virtue. The goody-goodies are the thieves of virtue." Let's chew on that for a minute. The goody-goodies are the thieves of virtue. Jesus says this. He says, "Beware the yeast of the Pharisees." What is the yeast of the Pharisees? It's not what you put in your bread. It works through the whole loaf. The yeast of the Pharisees is self-righteousness. Thinking that you're better than somebody else. Thinking that they deserve to suffer for their life choices because they haven't bought into the system. Thinking they deserve to be made to feel unwelcome and to be run out of town because they point out your flaws, your weak spots. I'm like a mole that has come into your town to kind of dig through and expose where you're lacking. Quincy, Plumas County, Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, Federal Wildlife Agents, Plumas County Sheriff's Office, all you deputies, you're lacking. You're lacking. You're lacking in this one thing: hospitality. It's not complicated. There could be canvas tents up the street.
Hi, is this Olivia?
There could be canvas tents, army barracks, something on the vacant lots. They're all over town. Put up 3, 4, 5 tents. It's $30 a night, $20 a night, 15, whatever. 2 hours of your work. Sweep up, gather wood, clean brush. Recycle things that should be recycled. Trash cans are full of recycling. It doesn't get taken to the recycling center. Because the pace of your life, the pace of this culture, the pace of this civilization is ridiculous. It's out of tune with reality. It's out of tune with the way nature works. It's out of tune with God and the Tao, the way. I represent the way. I am living the way. I'm an exemplar. I'm not the Knights Templar. I'm the exemplar of the way. And yeah, I'm doing my job. I'm doing it well. I'm just pointing out your inequities and your inherent injustices and your inherent lack of hospitality. Safeway used to be a table right here 6-7 years ago where someone who buys breakfast or lunch or whatever, or just wants to sit and chill for a minute, had a spot to do so. Now, everybody's so thirsty, apparently can't get their own water, when Quincy city water is fine. Very good water. It's on a well. It's good, great water. You can actually go up the road 3 miles up Meadow Valley Road and get your own spring water. But people aren't doing that because they're in such a damn rush You're in such a damn rush. We're busy, busy, dreadfully busy. Much, much too busy for you, right? The old ancient masters pointed out very clearly that rushing is a type of violence. Haste makes waste, as Benjamin Franklin says. The man on your $100 bill, the only non-president on your money, Benjamin Franklin. A penny saved is a penny earned, right? And haste makes waste. Your haste is wasting everything. Solomon says this in Proverbs, that abundant food lies in the fallow ground of the poor, but the rod of injustice sweeps it away. Abundant food lies in the fallow ground of the poor, but the rod of injustice sweeps it away. And I'm getting notifications now. Abundant food lies in the fallow ground of the poor, but the rod of injustice sweeps it away. What is the rod of injustice? The rod of injustice is your pace. The pace of the civilization, the pace of your city, the pace where you're all committed to this bullshit story you've all bought hook, line, and sinker, that you need a mortgage and a student loan debt and have insurance. And it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. God laughs at that. God laughs at your idea that there's insurance. When it's your time, He's going to take you. When He wants you to have cancer, you'll get cancer. And it's not going to be fun. Well, that's just the way it is. You don't understand God. You don't understand His nature and His character. He's a father who doesn't like to be ignored. He's a father who doesn't like to be rejected. He's a father who doesn't like the blasphemy and the gaslighting and the bullshit you're all doing. As in the days of Noah. Let's talk about the days of Noah real quick before I finish this video. Let's talk about the days of Noah. As in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the end. What happened in the days of Noah? People were, marrying and getting married and giving in marriage and buying properties and just carrying on business as usual, business as usual, business as usual. Noah's building this ark for 120 years, preaching the whole time, no converts. Everybody mocking him, everybody dismissing him, saying he's insane. 120 years. He started when he was 600 years old, by the way. That's literal. That's actually, we lived a lot longer back then. Noah, 120 years building that boat. And when the rain started, still no one believed him. And when the rain really kept going, 40 days, 40 nights, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth. See, here's the thing. It grieved God that He had made us. I posted last week that I regret being a father. That's a harsh statement. I'm no different than God Himself. It has grieved me that my children do not listen. It has grieved me that they mock me, that they ignore me, and they want me to suffer. It grieves me. My spirit will not contend with man forever. So He wiped out everybody. Nobody listened, except Noah and his family, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and their wives, and all the animals, enough to keep the whole situation going. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, Noah is Upanishti. I can't remember the name, I just forgot it. But it's the same idea. There's 270 different flood myths around the world of a global cataclysm wiping out humanity and a small remnant surviving. Usually 8 people. All the information necessary to recreate this race. We've gone to 8 billion people in 4,500 years from those 8 people. All the diversity, all the races, everything was from those 8 people. Shem, Ham, Japheth, and Noah, and his wife. I believe that literally true. I believe that the book is an accurate history. I have my reasons. I can defend that belief with science, with archaeology, with knowledge, with wisdom, with all the tales from all the cultures throughout history. When accurately and appropriately understood and interpreted. The age of the universe, all that. We'll get to that. I wrote a whole book about this, by the way, Evolution Behind the Bias. I'll just give you one quick quote about this, about my understanding of evolution, right? Not adaptation, I'm talking about macroevolution from amoeba to man. And if that's the case, if that has happened, there should be a clear demonstration in the fossil record of a progress over time from single-celled organisms to the 300 trillion-celled creature that you are. But it's Stephen Jay Gould, the Harvard professor, who actually invented a theory of evolution called punctuated equilibrium to account for the lack of evidence in the fossil record. He had access to 1 million fossils in his museum at Harvard, an eminent paleontologist. He says, in honest moments, we must confess that the history of life as recorded in the fossil record is more a story of multifarious variation about a set of basic designs rather than a saga of accumulating excellence. And that right there kills evolution. Multifarious variation about a set of basic designs rather than a saga of accumulating excellence. If there's designs, that implies a designer. It's very simple. You don't expect a tornado sweeping through a junkyard to assemble a Boeing 747, as Francis Crick once said, when comparing the odds of life originating from dead matter out of nothing for no reason with no intelligence involved. He said it's like, he was the discoverer of DNA, by the way, 1953, with Chandra Wickramasinghe, his Indian colleague and co-discoverer. Francis Crick says it's like supposing that a tornado sweeping through a junkyard could assemble a Boeing 747. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It's out of touch with reality. That's enough said for this morning. I'm feeling good. The sun's coming out. It's warming up. I would like a place to sit, relax, enjoy my beverage. I got to put it in a shopping cart and walk around. It's absolutely ridiculous. The lack of hospitality, the lack of humanity, the lack of empathy. You've all turned into the machines that you drive around. You go from four-wheeled fortresses to four-walled tombs. And that's the facts. That's the facts, y'all. I'll finish on that note. And I'll use my handy catchphrase to finish up. God bless America. Over and out.